So next, let's talk about your shell. The shell is the actual application running your terminal. The terminal's kind of the thing, the actual application within your operating system that you're running. But the shell interprets all those commands and converts them into something that the OS can understand. OS X these days, if you're using a modern MacBook, uses ZSH, which is a more extensible version of Bash. It's generally the preferred way of doing things now. But Bash is the default. Bash you'll find on every Unix-based operating system from here to whenever. It's a tongue-in-cheek. It's called the Bourne Again shell. I looked this up because I was like, who is this Bourne person? Does it have anything to do with Jason Bourne? No, it's just a funny name. I don't think it's named after anybody. That's just a bit of fun trivia. But Bash is the default. ZSH is considered Bash. They're fairly interchangeable with some minor differences. But ZSH is the one you're using today. If you're using a modern MacBook, you might be using Bash. That's okay. None of the commands we're going to use today change. If you're wondering what your current shell is, you say echo $. Echo $, just shows you your current shell. You can also say echo $ shell. That's one of the reserved words, kind of like user. Echo $ user will tell you your username. There's a whole list of these. We won't go into them because they're not super critical. But just fun shortcuts if you're like, what am I actually using? And if you modify your shell configuration in any way, source that shell config will reload your terminal with the new configuration. So source tilde/.bash profile will reload your bash configuration. This is important because you'll modify it and you'll be like, why is nothing working? You have to reload your shell. All right, so for this next exercise, open your shell configuration, add a line that says, make your shell tell you good morning. So now it gets a little more complicated because I'm not being explicit. I want you to start getting some of these into your memory. So how do we get the terminal to say anything back to us? Does anybody remember what that command was?
Echo.
Echo, yes. So you're going to say echo whatever you want it to say. If you want to get fancy, you can use that $user. Go ahead and play around with your shell config a little bit. And you'll see kind of the built-ins that are there.